Have you ever gotten to the end of a really long day, felt completely wiped out, but when you look back, you feel like you didn't actually get anything important done? Well, we're about to dive into a totally different way of thinking about productivity. It's not about cramming more hours into your day. It's about getting more out of your day by focusing on a resource you've probably been ignoring.
Does this feel familiar? The demands just keep piling on, right? At work, at home, it feels like it's coming from all directions. And honestly, it doesn't seem like it's going to slow down anytime soon. You just feel stretched thin all the time.
We throw more hours at the problem. We work longer. We stay later. But here's the thing. That's the core issue. We're trying to solve a problem of capacity with a solution based on time. And folks, that is a battle we are just not going to win.
So let's break down what's really going on here. It all boils down to this pretty brutal gap between what the world is asking of us and what we can actually realistically give.
Just take a look at this. On one side, you've got the demands on us, and that bar just seems to keep climbing higher and higher. But on the other side, that's our personal capacity. And without some real intentional work, it tends to flatline and even start to drop over time. That huge space opening up between them, yeah, that's where all the stress, the exhaustion, and the burnout, that's where it all lives.
We obsess about time, but time is finite. We all get 168 hours a week. That's it. It's external. We can't make more of it. But energy, now that's a different story. That's an internal resource. It's something we can actually expand. And here's the best part. It's renewable. This is the currency we need to start managing.
If we want to close that demand capacity gap and actually perform at our peak without burning out, we've got to stop counting the minutes and start cultivating our energy.
So, what do we even mean by energy here? Well, in physics, it's pretty simple. It's the capacity to do work. And for us, it's exactly the same. It's the fuel that actually brings all your skills, your talents, your intelligence to life. I mean, you can be the most talented person in the world, but you just can't run on an empty tank.
And it turns out, our energy isn't just one simple thing. We're a lot more complex than a car that just needs a single type of fuel. To really be firing on all cylinders, we have to pull from four totally distinct but deeply connected energy sources.
The foundation for everything is our physical energy. This is the stuff we kind of know: nutrition, exercise, sleep, rest. It literally determines the raw quantity of fuel you have in your tank on any given day. If this is low, you can bet everything else is going to suffer.
Next, we've got emotional energy. Now, if physical energy is the quantity of your fuel, then emotional energy is all about the quality. The way we feel has a massive impact on how well we perform. Think about it. Positive emotions like excitement and confidence, that's like high-octane premium fuel. Then there's mental energy. This one is all about the focus of your energy. You know, in today's world with notifications and distractions everywhere, the ability to put your attention on one single thing, that is an absolute superpower. Every time you get distracted, it costs you a huge amount of mental energy to get back on track.
And finally, there's what might be the most powerful driver of them all: spiritual energy. And no, this isn't necessarily about religion. This is your why. It's the energy you tap into when your daily work is connected to your deepest values, to a sense of purpose. When you have that, it creates a kind of rocket fuel for all the other dimensions.
All right, so keeping those four energy sources in mind, let's look at how this plays out in the real world. We can actually map our day-to-day state into four distinct zones. And as I go through these, I want you to ask yourself, where am I spending most of my time? First up, we've got the performance zone. This is the sweet spot. This is where we all want to be. It's that feeling of high energy combined with positive emotions. When you're in this zone, you feel amazing and you do your absolute best work. It's the flow state.
But let's be real. A lot of us end up here, in the survival zone. This is basically your body's fight or flight response kicking in. And sure, that's great if a bear is chasing you, but it's awful for your health and your thinking when it gets triggered by a looming deadline or a stressful email. It's a total gas guzzler of a state that just drains you.
And you know what happens if you spend way too much time in that survival zone. You inevitably end up crash landing right here, in the burnout zone. The tank is bone dry, the emotions are negative, and trying to do high-quality work is pretty much impossible. It is a state of total and complete depletion.
Which brings us to the most underrated, undervalued zone of them all, the recovery zone. We tend to think of this as being lazy or slacking off, but it is the exact opposite. This state of low energy but positive feeling is where you recharge your batteries. It is not a luxury, it is an absolute performance requirement.
So, the big question is, how do we spend more time in that awesome performance zone and actually make good use of the recovery zone? Well, the secret is to stop thinking like a marathon runner and start training like a sprinter.
Think about it. Most of us treat work like this endless marathon with no finish line. So we pace ourselves, we hold back, we never fully engage. But a sprinter? A sprinter goes all out, 100%, because they know there's a finish line. And right after that finish line, there's recovery. That is the model for sustainable high performance in the modern world.
And here's exactly how you put that into practice. Turns out, our bodies naturally work in cycles of about 90 to 120 minutes, going from high energy down to low. The trick is to work with that rhythm, not fight it. Go hard, fully engaged for one of those cycles. Then, and this is key, you step away and you intentionally recover, even if it's just for a few minutes. Then, you repeat the cycle.
Okay, this all sounds pretty straightforward, doesn't it? It makes logical sense. But if it's that simple, why isn't everyone doing it? Well, the final piece of this whole puzzle is figuring out how to turn this idea into a real, lasting habit in your life.
Here's the hard truth. Just knowing this stuff isn't enough. We are creatures of habit. The biggest predictor of what you're going to do today is, well, it's what you did yesterday. Your willpower alone just isn't strong enough to fight that kind of inertia day after day. We need a much better system. And that system is built on something we can call positive rituals. What are they? They're just highly specific behaviors that you plan in advance, and then, through repetition, they become automatic. You're essentially hijacking the power of habit for your own good so you can manage your energy without having to rely on your very limited supply of willpower.
So let's end with this. Instead of trying to overhaul your entire life overnight, what is the one single, highly specific ritual you can build starting today to intentionally recharge your energy? Maybe it's a 5-minute walk outside after every big meeting. Maybe it's turning off your phone a full hour before you go to bed to protect your sleep. Or maybe it's just taking 2 minutes to meditate before you even look at your email in the morning. Whatever it is, that one small ritual, that's not just the secret to performing better. It's the secret to a much more sustainable and, honestly, a more fulfilling life.
Thank you for watching the video. If you like the content we make, press like and subscribe to our channel.